Hi, everybody. I want to talk about this. I just saw a post on Facebook on a AA group, and someone else just sent me a message about asking me to sponsor them. And I want to talk to a little bit about two things. One is why I don't sponsor people, and the second is somebody said something on the page about how fast they were going through the steps, right? And, you know, I think I want to explain a little bit about that. So, first thing, I don't sponsor people because once you've gone through the steps, I will be your friend and I will take you through the 12 steps and I will study the book with you. The meeting I go to, we read out of the big book. That's all we read out of. We read a little paragraph, everybody talks about it, right? I learn more and more about the big book every year that we go through the book. But once you've gone through the steps, I'll take you through the steps, right? The group I go to, we do it as a group. We take people through the steps. Once you do that, you have an answer, right? Your job then is to take other people through the steps. That's how this works, right? So personally, in the first, I don't have a sponsor. I have a group that sponsors me, but I don't have a sponsor because I have an answer, right? So nowhere in the first 164 pages of the book does it talk about sponsorship. It talks about being a friend and taking someone else through the steps, right? So I don't sponsor people. And when people ask me, hey, can you sponsor me? Sometimes they have time. I'm wondering, why do you need a sponsor? You should be sponsoring someone else, meaning you should be taking someone through the steps. That'll answer all your problems, right? I don't think you need a sponsor once you've done the steps. Your dependence has to be on a higher power. Your dependence should be on God, not another human being. And if you put this program first and you work this in all your affairs, all the other problems will take care of themselves. Now, about the steps and doing the steps too fast, we come in very sick. But if you put down the drugs and the alcohol and you don't have an answer, you're going to drink and use again. There's no surprise, right? You got to have a substitute, and the substitute is a spiritual answer. And you get that through the steps. So it's best to just get through the steps. Detox, get sobered up, start doing the pages 86, 87, and 88, and get through your steps. And as you get through your steps, people are like, I'm not sure if I did it right. You did it right. You did the best you could do at that moment. 10, 11, and 12 are maintenance steps. So 11's going to help you clean up stuff. It's like an onion peeling. You don't see everything at once, right? You get these glimpses. Thank God, right? You couldn't take it if you saw it all at once. So you get these glimpses. And if something comes up later that's really upsetting, you can do a fifth step with it. You can go back to the priest, minister, or rabbi that you did your fifth step with. I personally don't listen to fifth steps. I don't want to hear or be affected by your things, and you don't want me to know about your things in case I ever relapse and I go out. You don't want me to know your secrets. So my group, we take people to a priest, minister, rabbi, and we actually have someone who's in recovery, who's a recovering alcoholic, has 30 years. So it's a great way to do it. He's not in our club room anymore. But he does it on Zoom, and it works great. So anyway, what was I saying about that? So once you do your stuff, if something comes up again, you can go back to the priest and say, hey, something came up. I need to talk about it. But most of the time, you can deal with it in your 11th step at night and the prayers that you've learned through doing the steps, right? So when I got through my steps, Like, they didn't let me dawdle. Just let's go. I had relapsed after long-term sobriety, and they said, we don't have time to sit and figure this out. You need an answer right now. Let's do the steps. And as you take other people through the steps, you're going to learn more about your alcoholism than you did in your own steps. And I believe that's true, because when I was doing my own steps, I was kind of editing, and I was making myself the victim or the hero, right? Which is normal, I think, human behavior, at least alcoholic behavior. So, I couldn't quite see it. I was seeing it through like these rose-colored glasses, right? But when you're taking someone else through the steps, you can see it very clearly. You can see the selfishness, the self-centeredness, the alcoholism, and then you go, oh my God, that's me, right? So you can learn more about your steps taking someone else through the steps. This is not about taking a year or two to get through your steps. This is my opinion. If you know, everyone's doing this differently. There are more than one ways to skin a cat. But for those of you that listen to me and want to know my thoughts, because you've asked me, okay, that's why I'm telling you. Don't get upset if you disagree with me, because there's a lot of ways to do this. But my opinion is I was drinking 24 hours a day around the clock, could not stop. I needed an answer right now. I don't think it helps anybody. If you sit around for a year to try to do your steps, you're going to drink again. You're not going to have it, or you're going to get in a horrible relationship. You're going to start gambling. Something's going to go awry, because you've got to treat your alcoholism with something. So I get people like, let's get through the steps. If you miss something, we'll pick it up later when we're taking someone else through the steps. So you really don't need a sponsor. You need the sponsor. That's what you need. You don't need me to call and tell you what to do. You got a higher power. You're going to pray and ask God for help. You're going to do those daily pages, which tells you every day what to do. You don't need me telling you what to do, right? You need to be helping someone else, showing them what you did to get sober, which is you started reading 86, 87, 88 in the big book. You got through your steps, and you started taking people through the steps. That, to me, is the program. Action. It's all action. It's not sitting on the phone talking to someone and crying about my marriage or my divorce or my kids. It's not. The answer is in prayer and action. It's a program of action. You got to be taking someone else through the steps. That will fix your own problems. It's a weird concept. It's hard to get. It's hard to really fathom that if I look after my alcoholism, everything else will be taken care of. But I guarantee you that that's the truth. Now, if you find another way to do it, that's great. Like I said, a lot of ways to skin a cat. If you go to your church, celebrate recovery, whatever you're doing to treat your alcoholism, mazel tov. You know what I mean? I don't care. I want you to find an answer to your alcoholism, because alcoholism demands to be treated. It is not going anywhere. So if you're sitting back thinking, well, I think I'm going to wait till I have 3 months to do my first step, big mistake. Big mistake. Pretend like this thing is Freddy Krueger and it's right behind you. You better get moving. Have a great day.